What is up, everybody? Welcome back to part 2 of the new player guide to Planetside 2. And part 1, we went over the basics and how to get to the continent. We haven't actually got into any battles yet, just some logistics to know beforehand. We're going to do just a little bit of logistics in this video, and then we're going to get into the battles and the fun part. This is like very important stuff to know off the bat. You're probably not going to take everything I say and memorize it right away, but at least you have an exposure to it, because then you'll understand a little bit before going in, and it's very important. So anyway, where we left off is we came out of the warp gate, and we have the equipment terminal. We went over the equipment terminal and the classes. Now we have a vehicle terminal. A vehicle terminal is labeled by this it looks like a tank icon. And this is how you spawn vehicles in the game. And you can spawn tanks or whatever. You start out with certain things, and it's nice. So come up, hold square to interact, just like you would with the equipment terminal. And you have several different vehicles in this game. So the first vehicle is a flash. It's basically just a quad or I forgot the other name. Four-wheeler, whatever people want to call it. This is a very cheap thing. Each one of these vehicles costs spawn cost, which is shown in the very right hand corner of the screen, and it is 50. And you can see your total. I didn't spawn anything to use it, so I still have 750. That replenishes over time. That'll go back up to 750 over time. And there's certain factors that change the speed of what you're replenishing at, but that is you don't have to worry about any of that. So anyway, we have a flash. Flash, its spawn cost is 50, and it is very cheap and it's easy. It's just a thing. It doesn't have any guns on it. You can carry 2 people on it, and the other person who is not driving can shoot his gun, not a gun on here. But it's a good thing to just get around the map, because the map is massive. So it's a very good thing to just kind of get around. The harasser, this is a 3-person vehicle. There is a gun on top, and the third person sits in the back and can use his gun to shoot people. And then the first person's the driver, second person's on the gun on the top where you see. This is the fastest land vehicle in the game. So if you want to go fast, you can choose one of these, and it's got a gun. However, the spawn cost is much more than a flash. So keep that in mind when you spawn one of these, because you won't be able to spawn something else if you quickly die off of one of these, or you won't be able to spawn maybe something you want to spawn until you replenish over time your spawn costs currency. Whatever, I forget, I don't really know what it's called, but spawn costs. I'm just going to call it spawn costs for now. So then the next one is a sunderer. This is one of the most important vehicles in a game. This holds 12 people. It's just basically a giant school bus. And a very important thing is you can deploy these when you're driving it, and it will become a mobile spawn point. And when you're going for a base, when you're attacking a base, you won't have a spawn point unless other than the base that is closest to that base. So it takes a while to just drive all the way over there, or walk all the way over there, run all the way over there, and start attacking that base again. So a sunderer is very helpful, because you can just spawn right on one of these when they're deployed, and then you don't have to run all the way over to the base. You can have this deployed at the base you're attacking at. So this is basically your base of operations when you are attacking a base. So these are very important. Sunderers, I'm not going to spend too much time on them. Lightning, this is a 1-person light tank. So I'm not going to go over too much. You have 1 gun on it. It's useful against armor, but it is a light tank. Keep that in mind. Your prowler, this is the heavy tank. This is a 2-person. 1 person can get on the gun. 1 person gets on the big gun and drives. It is the heavy tank. I'm not going to go over ants. Ants, I need to do a little bit more research. This is for mining, and I think you can maybe like build stuff, but I think I have to figure out the difference between PC and PS4. This might not have too much use to it, so I'm not going to go over to ants. Just worry about prowler, lightning, sunder, harasser, and flash for now. And I'm going to go quickly over the what is this? The aircraft terminal. I couldn't think of the name. These are where you spawn all of your aircraft in the game. So with this, there's a very limited one, and these differ by all the vehicles and all the vehicles, like ground vehicles and the flying vehicles, differ by name for each faction, but they're both pretty much, they're all the same thing based on each faction. They just are named different and they look a little different. Some have a few minor advantages over others, but really it doesn't really matter too much. So for the TR, their one-person aircraft where you start at is the Mosquito. This is just one person, very agile, very fast, the fastest flying thing in the game. You get a weapon on it. It's just very useful, and this will get you around the map the fastest by vehicle. The next one's a Valkyrie. This one has a few guns on it. This is for 3 people. This is actually for 2 people. The Valkyrie, this is a newer one. This is for 2 people. One on the gun, one on the driver. Some people really like these, but they're useful for kind of adding air attack to or air coverage to a base. Also, the Liberator. This is the main one people use for air coverage to a base. This is a 3-person, 3 different guns. The driver has a gun. The second person has a gun. The third person has a gun. It is just a mobile warship, which is very useful for air coverage, and it's still agile and fast. The last one is a Galaxy. This one holds 12 people, just like that giant school bus, and this one is very important for Galaxy drops. Each faction has, all are named Galaxy. They all look the same, they're just different colors. Galaxies are very important when you take a whole squad in and drop a bunch of people on a point. This is the only aircraft vehicle you can jump out of and not take fall damage, and you'll see why that tactic is important when we get there. So I'm not going to do anything with aircraft quite yet, but I'm going to do stuff with the vehicles. And before we start with the vehicles, another thing to make it very easy for you guys is we're going to go to the pause menu. You go to settings, and then we're going to change the control for ground vehicles from default over to racetrack. And when you change it to racetrack, just make sure I have to change it from racetrack because I already had it there. Just make sure to press apply with square when you do it. Otherwise, it won't actually apply. But switch it to racetrack because this allows you to use your R2 and your L2 to accelerate and decelerate. If you try to learn the controls with the default controls, you're going to find it very difficult to use them. I don't know why they don't just leave them on racetrack. So anyway, we're going to interact. And I'm going to start out with a flash. Just keep things simple. A flash. And this is our quad. You can also go from, this is first person. If you click in the right stick, you can go into third person. So third person is it's maybe a little bit easier. Some people find it easier to look in third person. And you can go back to first person the same way. Click in the right stick. And now you're back in first person. I'm gonna stay in third person because I find it a little bit easier to maneuver vehicles that way. But it's up to however you guys want to do. So right now we're just taking our quad and just driving around the warp gate. We are completely safe in the warp gate under the shield because this is our whole defense mechanism. Nobody can capture this base. This is our base of operations for this whole map. So before we start moving, I'm going to look at the map with pressing the touchpad. I'm going to zoom out a little bit to a regional size, and this is the map so far. All the red area is what we have captured. All of the purple area is what the Vanu Sovereignty has captured. All the blue area is what the new conglomerate has captured. With that, you can kind of see, you'll see a little bit of activity with a bunch of, looks like bombs blowing off, yellow bombs blowing off. That just kind of shows you a quick idea of where the battle actually is. So before we get into that, I'm just going to show you basic information for a base. So I'm going to go to this base right here. I'm going to set a personal waypoint on here. First base from the warp gate. There's no battle going on right here, but I'm just going to show you what a base is like. Before going into it, again, this is a tutorial. I just want to show you what a base is like. Our first base is right here. The second base is actually that bigger one behind it. And then there's a battle going on behind that base. So I shouldn't have any opposition here. There's no reason for an opposition to be here. But we'll get into the war tactics in the next video. I'm just going to go over some base tactics in this video and the vehicle terminals. So what to expect at a base. This is a small base. It's just kind of like an outpost. So we have our flash. We're able to get around. Using square, you can enter and exit. Same with using the vehicle terminals. It's just kind of your action key. So the most important thing of a base is the control point. As you can see right above my map, you'll see A, and it's the color of red, or even squared. That shows that this is your base. Or that shows that this point is captured by your team. So also, this is what a control point looks like. So basically, depending on the size of the base, it is just domination style. You want to hold all the points for as long as the base requires, and then the base is yours. Certain bases that are bigger have specific extra things on top of it to capturing these bases. But this is basically your control point, your domination point. Like if you're playing Call of Duty Domination, there's 3 different points, and you want to capture all the points to have it. So it'll change colors based on, you'll see the color change based on who has it. So like red is the TR, blue is the NC, and the Vanu Sovereignty is purple. NC is New Conglomerate, VS, Vanu Sovereignty. So obviously this is our point, and we have this base. So the main thing is each base is domination style. And then if you look on the mini map, you'll see there is a vehicle terminal and a weapons terminal. All bases will have a weapons terminal. I'm pretty sure most bases will have a vehicle terminal, but a lot of bases won't have a aircraft terminal unless it's a really big base. So it depends on the base, but this is where you can spawn your vehicles. You can change your class and all that stuff. I'm going to go over to where the weapons terminal is. This right here is actually usually where the weapons terminals are, is where you can spawn in. So we have this little bit of a right here, we have this little bit of a shield here. This is actually a shield where if there was enemies here, they can hit me right here, but if I go inside of this shield, they can't hit me. You're all safe inside of this thing here. If you go up here, you're outside of the shield as well. They can hit you up here. It's just a whole thing. You can't come back down into here unless you jump back, but basically you are safe inside of here. This is where you spawn at the base. You spawn out of one of these things, and then you're just in here. You can change your class with your weapons terminals. These things are basically the yellow up arrows. They are escalators up. You just fly up. And then they also have blue ones that have a down arrow. They look just like it, but they're blue instead of yellow, and they have a down arrow, and they bring you down so you don't take fall damage. So yes, this is how you kind of move up and down. Special futuristic stuff that they added. So yes, so you're safe in here. They can't come in here. You can look out. You can't shoot out of these. I don't think. Actually, can you? No. I don't think. For now, I don't think you can shoot out of these. You have to step out to shoot out of them. You might be able to shoot from inside of them. I can't remember. But even if you do, if you can shoot out of them, you don't have an access to the control point. So it's not very useful to stay in here if you're just cramped in here and the other team's got you cramped in here. So it's not very useful to stay in here because usually the control point is going to be completely out of the way of where you're spawning. And like, for example, this base, it is, so you'd have to start moving down here and get over to the control point. Whereas the other team has probably got Sunderers, that I was saying your mobile spawn point, that they are deploying at the base as well. You can also use your own Sunderer, and you don't have to deploy out of that You can use your own sunderer. You don't have to deploy out of those areas where the equipment terminal is. You can park your sunderer. It has to be far enough away from the base in order to park it, but you can park it and deploy it, and people can spawn. Like, they don't have to be in there. They can spawn over here and then come over, and whatever you decide. But your purpose is to get on this control point and be able to take this point. So this is a very simple base. You just have a spawn base area over there where your equipment terminals are, your vehicle terminal is. We already know what the equipment and the vehicle terminals do, and you can switch your class by pressing deploy on each one. So when I was in that terminal, I'm going to quick get over there so I can I get out of here? Nope. Okay. All right. I'm going to quick get over to the the equipment terminal, and show you, because some people get a little confused. I just want to re-go over that. If I go to the equipment terminal and I use it interact, whenever you switch it, you want to hit square to deploy it. As you can see on the bottom of the screen, there's circle is back, square is deploy, X is select. People think select is that's how you select your character. No, select is you're selecting the weapon. I'm highlighted weapon right now. You're selecting the weapon. The attachment selecting is like editing your class. So in order to actually deploy as it, you press square to deploy it. Now I am a light assault. I have a jetpack, shown by that on the bottom and on the side how much jetpack you have. And I could just jetpack up to here if I wanted to. Like there's the jetpack on the light assault. So yes, but I want to stay as a combat medic for the time being. So you just want to make sure you press square to deploy. Select is going to select your class, select is going to select your equipment inside of the class. That's not going to actually deploy you as that person. So anyway, that is one base, and I think I might have lost my flash because I was off of it for too long. Yes, I did. So I'm going to just spawn another flash. When you are away from your vehicles for long enough, they have a timer, and you probably might have seen that at the beginning. There's a timer for how long you can be away from your vehicle before it just automatically just blows up. It's to help keep the server lag free, to keep random things from not being used on the map, because if you just have random vehicles just laying everywhere, that's not very useful. So anyway, this is one base. I'm going to get into more difficult bases in the next video, and war tactics in that video maybe as well. We'll see where it's going to go, but I'm going to wrap this video up here, and in episode 3 you guys will be seeing a lot more advanced stuff. So thank you guys for tuning into this video, and make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next video.